What's up, good people? Thank you for clicking play on another episode of Big Man, Tiny Kingdom. What it is, good people? What's up? Big Man, Tiny Kingdom, back with y'all again to do what I do best. Run my mouth about anything, everything, and nothing at all. Handing out my 2 cents about my love for the tiny homes and the great outdoors. I primarily stay close to home, visiting the beautiful parks and campgrounds here in Arizona. This is on purpose. I first started focusing on staycations when I just accepted that my money was best suited for local trips, places that I could drive to, that only took a tank of gas, get there and back home. I discovered that there are quite a bit of fun things to do here. Places I've never experienced before. So many new adventures for me to get into. Well, I got obsessed with exploring Arizona's outdoors. I have a decent sized bucket list of places that I want to visit, all here in the state. Not sure if that is a good or bad thing. I will say that when COVID had us on lockdown, staying local was a good idea, and camping became a go-to activity for a lot of people. RV sales went up. Attendance numbers at local parks went up because it was said that being outside and with some space apart from other people was safe to do. So a lot of folks jumped on the bandwagon, made impulse purchases. I'm sure they enjoyed themselves in those moments, but after a while, the thrill was gone. I've heard of people who bought a camper during COVID, used it some in 2021. Once everything got back to business as usual, their usage declined almost to no use at all. Now, that's their prerogative. Me, it ain't just a hobby or a sport for me. It's truly a way of life. I'm obsessed with it. I talk about it all the time. I'm sure my close friends and family wish I would shut up about it, but nah, that ain't gonna happen. If you're talking to me, best believe we're talking about something related to the outdoors. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do on this episode. Talk to y'all some more about what I love to do most. I wanted to share my idea for traveling outside the state. It's been like 7 years since I've made this plan to go on this road trip that I want to embark on. And I'm probably going to save this for 2024, maybe even 25, only because I'm going to need to coordinate this with my work schedule. I'll need to be away a little longer than how I normally vacay. My plan is to leave out of Arizona and head north toward Interstate 5. And drive up the California coast. I'm going to leave in the early morning hours, probably about 12 a.m. Before I even hit the road, I'll start my vacation time the day before, and I'll spend that day getting all my gear packed up and ready to leave. Then I'll get some sleep in during the daytime hours so that I'm refreshed and ready to handle the night driving. And I'm starting that way because I want to get in a full, stretched out day of driving to my first stop, Mount Diablo State Park, in Alamo, California, which is about an hour and a half east of San Francisco. It's an 11 hours drive to Mount Diablo from Arizona. And if I leave from home at midnight, then I will get there around 11 a.m., but I plan to take plenty of stop breaks. More than likely, I will get to Mount Diablo around 1 p.m. So I'll spend the rest of the day there exploring the park, getting some camping, call it a night in the early evening hours, probably as soon as it gets dark. And next morning, I'll head to one of my bucket list destinations. When I saw the Clint Eastwood movie many years ago as a kid, I said that one day I would make a visit to Alcatraz Island. I don't know what the fascination is, just seems like it would be a cool place to be a tourist. I plan to get there early, whatever time they first open, spend a few hours or more there, then I get back on the road for my next stop, Gold Bluffs Beach Campground in Oric, California. Don't know much about it, but from the pictures and YouTube videos I've watched, it seems like it'll be a good spot for an overnight stay. Plus, it's connected to the Pacific Ocean, and anything water will always be a place that I'm sure to love. I really don't need that stop to be much more than just some R&R. It's a pit stop to my next bucket list destination. For as long as I could remember, I've always wanted to check out the Redwood Forest National Park. It's a spot that I am sure will most certainly bring me joy. Now, my truck is too tall for one of the drive-through trees, but I am looking forward to taking my photo posted up in front of one of those. After the Redwoods, next morning I will drive 5 hours to reach Lincoln City, Oregon. I've already mapped out the place I will stay at. It's called Devil's Lake Campground. All I'm going to say is Google it, and you'll immediately see why I chose this spot. If you forgot already, I'm a water lover, and Devil's Lake looks like the place to be for that. This is another overnight location for me, so I'll eat, chill, sleep, and get myself back on the road for another 4-hour drive, where I will next enter Tacoma, Washington, the city of destiny, the place I've called home for many years of my life. I plan to make some quick visits to family and friends. Not sure yet where I'm staying, but most likely I'll be pulling up in someone's driveway and will car camp for the night. Originally, when I was making the first draft of this road trip, the next destination was going to be a drive up to Vancouver, Canada. However, I changed my mind because I still have a lot of other places to hit up, and Canada would have cut into another day or two that I kind of don't have available to me when I'm counting my vacation time. At this point, I'm at 6 days, and I still got some pretty cool adventures on the agenda. So when I leave the Evergreen State, I head east and make my way 5 hours drive time to Idaho, where my landing spot is Coeur d'Alene National Forest. Now, all throughout this road trip, I've been truck camping, but I've decided that going forward on some of these stops, I'm going to get a little bit more glamorous. So my plan is to reserve a cabin when I'm at the Coeur d'Alene River area. I'm sure with this being day number 7, relaxing in a bed will probably be just what the doctor ordered. I also plan to get in some hiking and sightseeing while there. Then it's time to sing that beloved Willie Nelson song. Yes, I'll be getting back on the road again. And my next stop, I anticipate to be one of my favorites. Not just for this trip, but I'm thinking one of my all-time favorites. Good people, I am so looking forward to getting up the next day as early as possible and driving 7 more hours so I can make it to Yellowstone National Park. My chance for the first time in my life to finally see Old Faithful, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, Roosevelt Arch, and I hope and pray that I get to see a herd of bison. Just talking about it now has me excited to visit Wyoming because it's such a massive place. My plan is to spend 2 days at Yellowstone. That way I get as much opportunity as possible to soak it all in. And then after my time there, it's off to Utah, 9 hours drive time to make it to Zion National Park. What I'm hoping to do while there is book me a suite at the Coral Springs Resort and then get in the water for some river rafting, which will be a first for me. I've been wanting to try my hand at river rafting ever since I saw the movie River Wild that stars Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon. I ain't trying to do anything extreme like they were in the movie, just to ride on the river, calm enough for a rookie. I anticipate that to be one of the major highlights of the entire road trip. My next destination will be a pit stop just so I can scratch it off my bucket list. I'm going to detour east 4.5 hours and make a stop at the Four Corners Monument. I don't plan to stay there long. I'm going to get in my photo that says I was there, browse around for a little, and then I'm back in the truck. Since I'm standing there in New Mexico, I'm going to carry on the tourist shenanigans and take my sci-fi aliens-loving self to Roswell, New Mexico. It's a 7 hours drive southeast. I'll spend a day there, find me a place to stealth camp for the night, and now it's time to start heading back home to Arizona. Last camping spot will be another 7 hours drive to Saguaro National Park in the Tucson area. I'll explore the park and however much daytime I have left, relax that evening, get some stargazing in, and the next morning, it'll be the final day of driving 1.5 hours back home to Mesa. My estimated timeline for this road trip, 12 days, 75 hours driving, 4,444 miles round trip. I don't know how that managed to estimate to that number, but maybe I should play the lottery before I get on the road. The odds just might work in my favor. I've mapped out all of this in my pursuit of happiness, doing what I love to do, seeking adventure, hoping for good times, making memories. Now, anytime you make a game plan, you always want to prepare for obstacles. Will the weather permit me to keep things like I got them? Road conditions, prepping my truck for this extended use, estimating as best as possible what gas and spending may be, but having some extra funds available for the unexpected expenses. Anything can happen, my plans can change. However, I feel good about thinking all of this through beforehand. Y'all wish me luck. Send me any ideas you got for me to consider. I can't wait to make this road trip idea a reality. You know how I do it. Real big. This is Big Man, Tiny Kingdom.